And we are back with the fourth segment of the GSMC Sports Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fourth segment, we are going to go ahead and talk about Jimmy Butler and his little shade that he threw at Pat Riley. And of course, this came in a video clip that has been trending on X, formerly known as Twitter. Where have I seen that before? And that's a rhetorical question because we've seen this in the when Jimmy Butler was this actually social media was the whole reason why Jimmy Butler and Miami have sort of fallen out of relations, because Pat Riley, he was talking about how Jimmy Butler was talking about how if he was still on the Miami Heat roster instead of being injured, he would have beaten the Boston Celtics and he would have beaten the Knicks. And Pat Riley is there looking at that clip saying, if you're not playing, stop talking. And that's soured relationships ever since, and now it's even more soured because Miami seems to be unwilling to pay Jimmy Butler and his contract. Now, obviously, Jimmy has been a little bit bitter, and we know when Jimmy gets mad and when he gets bitter, he gets very petty and he gets very emotional and he turns into an incredible diva. This happens every single time. This happened on the Timberwolves, and it's happening now in Miami. Now, he has posted several videos on his Instagram stories that showed him working at a coffee shop, and in one of those videos, Butler said, quote, "See, I gave you a compliment. That's what bosses do. They build you up. They don't break you down." Like, give me a break. Like, are you serious? You're gonna be that petty? Like, are you seriously that hurt with what Pat Riley had to say, saying that you do not, if you're going to, what's it called? If you're going to talk about another team, then you should be playing, because like that seems very childish of Jimmy. And yes, I did find anything. Manzano's in the chat. Yes, I did find something confirming that Carson Beck is transferring to Miami. ESPN, they sent out a notification about that, so that's very interesting. I still have no idea exactly what to think about that. I'm not a big fan of Carson Beck. Like, I do not like Carson Beck. I don't think he's as competent of a quarterback as people want to make him out to be. And one of the things that also kind of soured me was that he was laughing on the sideline when he only led his offense to 3 points. And again, that might be a little bit unfair to just take that one sample size. But again, I have not been that high on Carson Beck at all in college football. I just don't really like him. Like, Georgia and that team, it's an incredibly competent team. The fact that Georgia was the fact that Georgia is eliminated from the college football playoffs is unacceptable, really, with that sort of team. And the fact that they were even able to even make the playoffs is just like, really? Like, you're gonna get, really? Like, how? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of Carson Beck. Now, for Manzano, he says, it's 50-50. I blame Jimmy for being immature and acting like a baby, but I believe Pat for not telling this to Jimmy in private. Man, Jimmy went on socials to tell everybody. He went on socials to tell the whole world, and now it's a bad thing when Pat Riley tells the whole world that Jimmy should just stop talking and play basketball. Like, really? And it's not like, now, on the quote itself, they build you up, they don't break you down. Telling you to stop talking because you're injured is not breaking you down. Like, I think that's incredibly soft. He should have taken the criticism like a normal human being and have just worked around it. I don't understand that. And yes, I know you are a Heat fan. Miami fan in general. The Hurricanes, the Miami Heat. Makes total sense, but let me know in the comments what you think. Like, do you think you would want to trade Jimmy Butler, and would you accept a trade that would allow you guys to get Bradley Beal? Because that seems to be the most likely scenario that's going on. Now, the Heat announced last week that they were suspending Jimmy Butler for 7 games for multiple instances of conduct detrimental to the team. Like, he is an unbelievable diva. And what's crazy about it is that there's this persona around the league that Jimmy Butler is one of the most clutch players in the league and in the postseason. That is a complete myth. That is a lie. That is fabricated, all because of one playoff run in the bubble. Yes, he played well in the first round 2 years ago, but aside from that, that was the only time he actually deserved the playoff Jimmy Butler name, because he fell off when he played against the Knicks, he fell off when he played against the Celtics, and he extremely fell off when he played against the Denver Nuggets. Now, Manzano said he's not worth as much as I thought. He was going to be, because no team wants to give up draft picks. If we had traded him before, hold on, I'm trying to see. Traded him before, and this situation happened, I think we would have. Let me see. I think we would have gotten more. And now you're starting to agree with other fan bases that Jimmy is a, I'm not going to say that word, but he's a detriment to the locker room, because he was accused of being a detriment in Chicago, Philly, and Minnesota. He's just very, very full of himself. Like, I knew he was full of himself, but I didn't think it was this bad. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with trolling the other team on the internet, in my opinion, but going to someone and say, record this, and say that if I was playing, the Celtics would have been swept, or if I was playing, the Knicks would have been done for, this, that, and the other. That's just incredibly childish. And, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We all saw how much of a detriment in the locker room he was in Minnesota. But obviously, tension between Jimmy Butler and Riley seemingly date back to May, when that incident occurred. And he's 35 years old, and he's in the midst of his 14th season, and this is going to be his 6th season with the Miami Heat after previous stints as a member of Chicago, Minnesota, and Philly. And 2 of his 6 career All-Star appearances have come since he arrived in Miami, and he has also led the Heat to the NBA Finals twice. Again, that does not mean you have the right to talk like the way that he does. But again, a little bit of a shorter segment because we are extremely low on time. I spent a lot of time talking about the issues for each and every playoff team. I spent a lot of time with that. So I apologize for making these segments rather short. But again, Jimmy Butler, and what makes this even worse is that he's not even having as good of a season to even talk the way that he talks. He's averaging 17 points per game. While he is an efficient shooter, shooting 55% from the field and 37% from 3. Again, his impact and his production in the points category is just not enough. If you're not taking that many shots, of course you're going to average all that, a much higher field goal percentage. And I just don't see Jimmy Butler like that. I don't see Jimmy Butler like the player that he was when he went up against the Lakers. And he's just a myth in the postseason. And aside from that, that's all that I really have in that's all that I have in this segment. So now we're going to go into the NBA recap of the 5th segment, because a lot of stuff happened last night, and we're mainly going to focus, well, not really going to focus on just one team, but I really want to get into talking about the Cavs and specifically Darius Garland. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.